All right. Welcome back to the Outdoor Drive podcast. What episode is this anyways?
73, 74. I'd have to look.
75? Hold on. Let me see here. We're good at this.
Not really. You'd think that putting the episodes together, I would remember.
Yeah, no, 73.
Yeah. I thought it was somewhere in there.
Yeah, because the shed hunting fool was 71. This week's or last week's would be 72, and then this one's going to be 73. That's pretty nuts.
Fingers and toes for that one.
Yeah, two of them. Drop the decimal 3 places. You know how it goes.
Yeah, get the square root.
That's it. That's what you needed. So, anyways, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive podcast. This is your boy East Coast Trev, and
this is Steve.
Steve, well, we're no longer miraculous, Steve.
No, I don't. I gave you one.
Oh, we're back to Steve.
Everyone gets one.
All right, that's fine. We'll take it. We'll take the one. So, well, before we get too crazy into it, guys, we did go live last week on Instagram and Facebook that we have a couple of giveaways. So go on to our social media platforms and just keep tabs on what's going on. We have a lot of giveaways with timber tumblers. We're going to give away 2 timber tumblers, outdoor drive style. And then we have the Ridge Runner from Nor'easter Game Calls. That will be hitting the website. And also we will be having a giveaway on that. And then we're kind of working on our own signature series, just like the Blood series, just for the outdoor drive with pot call, grunt tube, whatever, coyote call, whatever we can come up with. So just stay tuned to that stuff. And also for sale right now, we have stickers available, and we are working on our second run of hats, which should be in any day now. So if you guys aren't on our social media, you might want to get over there. I don't want you guys all to miss out on that. But right now, if you do want stickers, we have a 5-inch sticker, which is for $6. And then we have a 3-inch sticker for $4. And just get a hold of us via email, via Facebook, Instagram, any way that you possibly can. I know a lot of you guys may or may not have social media. So just want to make the announcement here. And while we're doing announcements, if you guys could just subscribe on our YouTube page and also on like iHeartRadio or wherever you are listening to us, just give us a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. That will get the word out there to the community and kind of grow this family a little bit larger. So just kind of wanted to spit that out there real quick and fast.
Sounds good.
What do you think, Steve?
Sounds really good. Nice and easy.
Simple, yeah. Fast, quick, and easy.
Yep.
Just wanted to kind of spread that. I don't want anybody else missing out on it. I did kind of realize that, not everybody has social media platforms that we've been running a lot of the stuff on. So we figured I would announce it here where everyone actually listens to the podcast. So we'll go along with that. And yeah, man. What's new with you, Steve?
Not much.
Same old.
Snow's starting to clear finally. So
I know it kind of got a little warm here today. We kind of lost some of the snow. We still have 5 inches of snow on the ground. So shed hunting has been kind of impossible. And then it put a big sloppy, wet, nasty mess on top of the ice. So kind of been hanging out at home myself. Really looking forward to shed season though.
Yeah, we're over here bragging, but today as we're recording, which would be the 16th, Texas is froze over. The Midwest is froze over. Massive power outages. It's chaos.
I hope we don't get hit with that.
I honestly don't know. I don't think it's going to come east. I think it's just kind of sitting over them. It's really weird.
Well, I hope everyone's good and safe there. I know it's not easy. We deal with that every day.
Except for today. It's warmer here than there for once.
Yeah, I know. What I think our temperature hit like 50 degrees today. So.
Oh, geez. I think we might have hit like 34.
Oh, I would love if it was 34, just enough to melt everything. But it's going to get down to 16 degrees tonight, so everything will kind of lock up. And then by the time that this is out, we'll probably have another 5 inches of snow on the ground. So,
yeah, pretty much.
But we do, if you guys haven't already gone over to the YouTube side on our exclusive series that we have behind the product, the Matt Garris one went live last night or last week at midnight. So if you guys haven't checked that out, go and do so. And then should be up by now, I would imagine, is Cooking with Captain Seth. We did a green green chili green curry chili. I don't know. Green something or other.
Something green with flavors and peppers
Ah,
and
I know you messed me. Darn it. It's a green.
it's a tongue tie.
Chili. I don't know. Some green chili curry shit with shark.
Green chili curry shark.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll
I don't know how
that.
you would say it.
We'll just go with that.
Green chili, green chili, thresher shark is what we went with. And actually, it's not spicy by any means. It's more or less tasty. It's got like a coconut taste to it. It's actually amazing. It's better than the shark that we cooked last time there, Steven, when you were up here. This stuff was really good. So.
Yeah, well, all of our inland friends are going to be going great. I'm going to just go down to Walmart and give me some thresher shark.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to see, we did this on purpose. So you're going to have to book a shark trip with us to eat thresher shark. So if you book a charter with Seth Sport Fishing, and then you can go and you can cook thresher shark. Now that they actually just, I don't know if you saw it on social media or not, but they actually bought a new boat. So now they have an offshore boat, and then they're going to use it as an inshore party boat too. So that's kind of cool.
That'll be wild.
Yeah. And then have the bass boat to add to it. So it'll be kind of a crazy summer.
Sweet.
A little bit more than what we bargained for, but it'll be fun. So always good, man. Always good. So what do you got planned coming up, Steve? Anything good and exciting and new?
Just making plans, try to get down to hunt camp and go start marking out where we're going to cut those food plots and starting getting that property layout put together so we can hand that off to the timber company and get in there and get to work on that this summer.
Yeah.
Pending ground's got to dry out a little bit. There are some spots you just can't get in there if it's wet.
So when you start to plan to do some of that stuff, like what month do you normally, because it's something that plays in the back of my mind. I don't do a lot of food plotting, but I was planning on doing some this year. I got a couple properties that I want to do something on. So what month of the year do you normally start doing that?
Well, me personally, it all kind of depends. Like on this big chunk we're working on, we're shutting the property down for the entire season just because, once we get it cut, get everything established, we want to give it time to settle, let the deer and everything move back in, get used to the new situation. And that'll give me time to fertilize and get the pH up in the soil. If you've got an established food plot, a lot of people will put out some spring seed and give some greens during the summer, but with me, I might go out and frost seed some clover through the summer, but I won't bother planting my actual greens till August. I like those nice thick greens going in. Plus it gives them, when you get the freezing weather like we have now, all the greens are down, they've eaten them off, but you've got all of the bulbs are still in the ground, and they'll dig them up and they sit out there and just till up the ground for you and chew up all of the radishes and turnips and beets, and whatever they don't eat is natural fertilizer. So it just breaks back up and goes right back into the soil. So it saves you a trip there.
I was thinking about doing some of that frost seeding. I was just a little nervous about some of the old CRP stuff that's on the ground. You think it'll choke it out?
Probably. I'm a big proponent. If you're going to put seed down, you've got to go in there as soon as it starts greening up in the spring, that mid-April time frame when you first start seeing the green come through. You've got to go out there with, I recommend 2,4-D personally, but a lot of people go with, Roundup or glyphosate and mix it at 2% and spray that entire area you want to plant, kill it off, get it down to the bare soil as best you can, and then go through, and I would just seed bed whatever you're going to seed in there. Glyphosate is relatively out of the soil, we'll say within a week to be safe. So you spray, you kill everything off, rake it out, and you can put your seeds down safely. If you do use 2,4-D or a heavier substance like that, it will take, up to a month before that clears out of the soil. Jeez. And if you put your seed into that soil, it's not going to grow because it's going to kill it as soon as the root pops. So just be wary of what you're going to use and how you're going to use it. Make sure you know the product and biggest thing is have a plan. Don't just go out and say, hey, I'm going to go cut and do this and throw it out and hope it grows.
I think you said that on purpose because that's probably what I would do.
That's what I did. Probably my first 5 attempts is I went, this is cool. Rake it out, take a string trimmer and clear it and throw the seed down. And then come summer and early fall, I'm going, how come this didn't grow? Little wispy twigs of, grass and whatnot. And then you realize that, you're not going to grow anything unless you get the pH right and unless you get your nutrients up. No food plot is going to grow worth a crap if you don't get those 2 things. So
so make sure to know those things, huh?
Yeah. My best advice to people is if you're going to put in a food plot, expect the first year to suck. The second year will be pretty good, but you won't get your max effectiveness until the 3rd year. So don't put it out, throw and grow and expect to have a pristine food plot the first season. It's generally not going to happen unless you're in that nice black soil out in the Midwest. So
it's good to know. Good to know. I like it
now, and you'll be good to go down the road.
Speaking of good news, why don't we turn this bad boy up? I hear something coming in.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, Mike here with some news for your cruise. So first, we're going to start off in Rhode Island, and I got to thank Mike Woods from New England BHA for sending this one to me. It's in regards to House Bill 5329, which went to its first public hearing on February 11th. It is an act relating to fish and wildlife field trials and shooting preserves. The bill's aim is to prohibit shooting preserves and captive hunting in Rhode Island, but it also does explicitly state that this prohibition does not apply to stocking of game birds on public and private land. BHA will be posting additional information on their website, including their letter to the Environmental Committee. So feel free to take a look, as it may help you if you intend to submit any written testimony on the bill. Also out of Rhode Island, the Department of Environmental Management is seeking public input on the use of state conservation land and management areas. Feedback from the survey will be used to shape the future of outdoor recreation on state lands, including hunting and fishing. Anyone can take the survey, even if you're not from Rhode Island. I've actually already done so, and there's a lot of questions that relate to hunting and fishing. So if you have a few minutes, I highly encourage you to take the survey at www.dem.ri.gov/nature survey. It seems like the way it's worded, there's actually taking in a lot of input from those that may not even currently hunt or fish in Rhode Island. So that would be good to get some more input on that from folks around the area. And now on to California, and I got to thank Caterpillar and Steph Manteufels, who both sent me information on this one. There's been a lot of news about this one. Senate Bill 252 in California, which was introduced to outlaw bear hunting in the state. And that bill has actually been withdrawn barely a week after it was introduced. Within days of that bill being introduced, state and national hunting associations organized a massive campaign against the bill, and a petition on change.org has garnered more than 27,000 signatures opposing the bill. I'm sure that the State Wildlife Agency not really supporting the bill helped the cause as well, but this just goes to show how powerful sportsmen and women can be. And if hunters can affect change in one of probably the bluest states in the nation, then we can surely make changes on our local fronts as well. So please be sure to be active in the process with your state legislatures and make sure that our voices are being heard. So now off to Vermont, where there's a couple of bills that have been proposed there as well. I don't have specific numbers on these bills, but they would affect sportsmen in Vermont. One would ban all recreational trapping and the use of hounds to hunt bear. So if you hunt or trap in Vermont, I would recommend looking into this and contacting your legislatures. And if anyone has any more info on these, please feel free to send it to me. Now on to Montana, where Senate Bill 143 is causing quite a commotion. The bill proposes to allocate 60% of the non-resident deer and elk tags specifically to hunters using an outfitter in the state. This would effectively impact the DIY hunter opportunities in Montana. But outfitters do say that they also receive 40% of those tags now. I don't know if that's that they're allocated directly for them or if it's just that the people that draw the tags use the outfitters. And I mean, the outfitter business is actually the fourth largest industry in Montana, accounting for $400 million in revenue to the state each year. So it sounds like this one's going to be a battle on both sides, and hopefully they can find some common ground there. And then lastly, let's head back east to Mass, where the Mass Division of Marine Fisheries has proposed changes to the commercial striped bass fishing season. They have proposed to open the season a week earlier this year and to increase the number of open fishing days from 2 to 4. This is due to unfulfilled quotas in 2019 and 2020 seasons. I know earlier this year I had a segment on some changes that they made this year in season, opening additional days. It looks like they're moving towards opening those days for the entire season this coming year. I'm not sure where everyone else stands on this, but it's kind of maddening to me since the quotas in 2020 were reduced because of the fear of overfishing, and we've seen a ton of limitations and even talk of recreational moratoriums up and down the East Coast in recent years. So that'll end my rant for this week, and I'd just like to thank everyone that sent some news recently. It's been really helpful, so keep it coming. As always, you can send stuff to me on Facebook at Mike Salter or bearded_bowhunter on Instagram. And with that, enjoy the rest of your ride.
See, I knew there was good stuff coming in. Mike Salter, always hitting the nail on the head, dude. Always some good stuff, especially with all the stuff coming down the pipe. I know he kind of gets all fired up about the political stuff a lot, so you guys got to hear about all that. And make sure you guys are sending in letters. If you guys need letters or want letters, reach out to us. We have no problem kind of like formatting you something if you need a hand or whatever. I know me and Mike are very proactive with that stuff and been around that horn. Well, actually, Mike is. I just talked to Mike about it, actually. Been there, done that, but I talk to Mike when I need to do something. I go, what do you think, dude? Can you draft this up for me or what, buddy?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. That's definitely a good thing. Guess now that's out of the way. Hey, what are you drinking out of there?
That's a cup.
What kind of cup is that?
Let me see here. Oh, it's a timbered tumblers.
A what?
Timbered tumblers.
Not a timbered tumblers?
Timbered tumblers, tongue twister.
You're just tongue twisted today.
Always, buddy. Always something. So speaking of, get on over to timbertumblers.com. Get yourself a custom timbered tumblers, Jesus, outdoor drive style. Or if you want to throw your own logo on there, I know our good friend Steve Mardick, he put his logo on there. A couple other guys, Steve over here, just Steve. He put his own logo on the back of his too. So you can do all kinds of crazy custom stuff with them. Also, get on over to Nor'easter Game Calls. Get them in close with Nor'easter Game Calls, custom game calls. A little bit of everything, especially turkey season coming on. You definitely want to check out his pot series that he always comes. He's always mixing stuff. He's like the mad scientist when it comes this time of year with his acrylic stuff. So go and check him out. Nor'eastergamecalls.com. And don't forget about the Ridge Runner. It's something that Steven came up with, and
I didn't come up with it. I just gave him a call to replicate.
That's what I meant. Yeah, you. But it was your idea, man. It was you saw it. And Mark made it happen. So, especially with no plans, no nothing. So he made it come to life. And then also Wild Edge Inc., wildedgeinc.com. If you guys haven't gone over there yet, you guys are missing out on some really cool stuff this week. Starting on Monday, a couple of days ago, they have a huge sale going on all of their stuff, ropes and battlements and perches and you name it. He's got a huge sale going on, guys. So get on over there, wowthatjink.com. Check him out on Instagram. A lot of cool stuff going on over there. He is the leader in mobile hunting. Also, Wicked Twisted Bowstrings, custom bowstrings. Get Jillified from Trader Jan's. The wickedtwistedbowstrings.com. Get your custom BCY and Bloodline series strings. You can order them right online. She'll ship them right to you. You can bring them right to your post shop and put them on your bow. Also, out on the Limb MFG.com. He is the man, the myth, the legend when it comes to customization for you arrow hunters, as far as platforms, sticks, stands, camera arms, you name it, he makes it. So if you can dream it, he'll make it for you. Just reach out to him. But he's got a lot of cool stuff. The one stick for you guys that are into that stuff, you can buy that over there on out on the limb mfg.com. Broadside Camo, broadsidecamo.com, the photorealism for the aerial hunter. He's got some new stuff up his sleeve. We heard a little teaser on that the other day on his Instagram. So keep posted with that for the new 2021 series. He's got some new stuff coming out. So keep an eye on all these guys. They got some really cool stuff coming up forth. And also, if you guys haven't already, get on over to Gator Outdoors. Go and check out their stuff also. They are outfitting the working class, and that's just a little tidbit teaser for you, and you guys will hear more about them coming up in the future. So help them out, and you can find all this at www.theoutdoordrive.com. Our promo codes are on there too, so you guys can save yourself a little something. Boom.
Nice.
Speaking of working class people, we have a pretty badass podcast with some pretty cool guys, huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. It's always nice to catch up with good old boys.
Tags Punched Outdoors. Go and check them out on Instagram after this, but let's tune these boys in. Let's see what the hell's going on. What do you think, Steve?
Let's do it, brother.
All right, getting excited. Nice shot. Here comes a shooter. Big buck. Stack. Get the gas! Welcome back. We're on the phone with the boys from where are you guys from anyways?
All over.
Yeah, just about everywhere. The continental US.
That's right. American. Why don't you guys, we'll start this off right. Why don't you guys just introduce who you are, man, where you're from, and what you guys do? Who wants to take the wheel and drive?
All right, I'll take it first. So my name is Mitch Langer. I am from Colorado, currently in Nashville. I played baseball with all my guys. I have three staff members, Mike Lavar, our tomb rank, and Cody Henson. Cody Henson was, not fortunate enough to get on today. But pretty much what we're doing here is it's just the group of us. We like to hunt. We like the outdoors. We have some good memories together, over the years and everything. And pretty much we're just trying to start a little brand and start a little movement and all, whatever you call it. And just get content out there, bring hunters together. And, we like to do our random shout outs where people send in what they shot and we put them up on the page and stuff like that. So pretty much, overall goal is just bring the hunting world together a little bit more. I know there's 1,001 Instagrams out there and everything like that. But I think, with my guys, their knowledge, sorry, my dogs are going nuts, with their knowledge and how much they get out and everything, man, I think we can, really make an impact and get to the point where, hopefully one day we're making shirts and hoodies and gear and whatever, and getting that all out to hunters across the world and everything like that. So, I'll hand it over to whoever wants to go next and one of these guys and see what they got to say.
Well, hold on. Before we do that, Mitch, what do you do for a living, man? What's your full-time job?
So since I retired from playing ball, I I was a hospitality manager at a 5-star hotel in Nashville. And once COVID hit, I got furloughed, and now I'm with corporate Amazon. So I'm working from home every day, staring at a computer, and I'm on 6 or 7 different programs. And, the biggest one, we get to drive carts that are in Seattle, Arizona, and Denver. Get to drive them around the warehouse and stuff. It's pretty cool little gig. So
nice.
Yeah.
You said ball. What you played ball?
Playing baseball. Yeah. We played college baseball with with Mike and Cody, and played 1 year of professional ball with our team in California.
Wow. That's awesome.
See, this dude just tells you about the time in college, but what he forgets to tell you is that we've known each other since we were just about in diapers, man. I tell you.
That is true.
I don't think there was any fame involved with diapers, so he wasn't going to throw that out.
No, but I will give Mike his little 2 minutes of fame here. We squared off against each other in high school. He went to Cheyenne Mountain High School in Colorado Springs. I went to Fountain Fort Carson, and we had a game at Fountain one day, and the way bullpen was just soaking wet, like nobody could use it. So Mike's starting a game, I'm starting a game. He comes over to our bullpen, and we're warming up at the same time, just shit talking. I'm going to strike you out with this, whatever. And we get in the game, and I went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, and Mike hit a ball about 540 feet off of a tree in dead center off of me. Right after I threw a 2-seam inside, and he banged it off his shin and about broke his leg. Then he just takes
I had
it
like a softball inside of my chin. It was great.
Yeah, but he got me that day, but we ended up winning the game like 9-1, something like that. So but he did hit an absolute moonshot off of me, so it was pretty sweet.
Hey, all I gotta say is chicks take scars and long balls, dude. They don't care about the wins.
Unless you're talking about when you're 70.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody want those long balls.
Oh no.
Well, so Mike, why don't you introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, so my name's Mike Lavar. I live here in Pueblo, Colorado. I've kind of been all over the place. Like I said, I went to school for 2 years with Mitch. We went to Southern Iowa, and we did that's where our like little hunting career kind of started, because that's where I had hunted my whole life with my dad, my uncles, and stuff like that, and I kind of got him involved out there because he really wanted to get into it. So we kind of got into deer hunting and stuff like that, but we never really took it too serious. And then we ended up splitting up and going to 2 different schools. But we've always tried to make it a point to get back to each other and do some kind of hunting. So I'll give him a little moment of fame, I guess. It was cool to be with. It's cool because the first time Mitch ever went coyote hunting with me, like, I have this super bad luck with whoever I take sees nothing and takes home tag soup every time we go.
That so it's great. Familiar.
We know about that.
So I took him out, and like 4 or 5 times we don't see like nothing, like not even a bird. I was like, cool. So finally his dad goes out with us one day, and we're sitting at this spot, and like literally 2 seconds into the stand, we get a double to come in. And that was the day that we both shot. He shot his, and it was in front of me. And then I was like, dude, you needed to shoot that one. So I spun around on the gun real quick. And next thing I know, I'm like 2 feet from Mitch. And I'm like, do I take this shot or not? I was like, duck. I shot this coyote. And finally, we were able to connect on some coyotes. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, so basically, I've hunted my whole life here in Colorado. I kind of recently started doing some waterfowl hunting in Kansas and other places. But for the most part, just, staying on the grind here. It's a tough state to hunt in, just like any other, but definitely provides a lot of more of its challenges, I think.
For sure. It's totally different than where you... How about you?
Oh, yeah. Well, my name is Artum, right? I was raised up here in Michigan. Right now, God, for what I do, I don't even know. I do so much random stuff. I've on weekends and things like that, I do a lot of land management. I actually do like whitetail management up here. I've run pheasant guides, waterfowl guides. I do a guide service out of here as well as out of North Dakota for waterfowl. I had worked in like landscaping and anything in maintenance, dealing with that. And now I'm actually doing I'm a utility locator, but like come fall, I don't know how I've lucked out with it, but I've worked out to where pretty much from October to January, I don't actually have like a set job except for my guiding. So if, like this year, for instance, with the whole COVID pandemic, when that kind of stuff happened, believe it or not, like that even affected us. Like, yeah, as outdoorsmen, we had more time to go, but it was kind of difficult to get people, to not feel as weary about it and not want to come. And then there became all this other regulation. And I don't know if you've followed the stuff in Michigan with how they've dealt with COVID, but it's just awful. You talk about lawn balls dragging the ground. That's pretty much this state. I mean, Jesus, they haven't figured out anything. But I actually ended up just using all that time for myself, and I did pretty well. Shot a few deer, toured around a little bit, couple different states. I mean, it was a ride. Almost felt like retirement at 25. But I know Mitch there, like you said, we played professional ball together. Before that year when we met, I had actually been playing pro ball for, since 2017, because that's when I got out of college in West Virginia. And I had bounced all over the country playing ball with that. I did a little spit there with the Red Sox organization, which was kind of cool. Nothing overly crazy. Like I wasn't signing any deals or anything like that, but I was able to go down to spring training as a non-roster invitee. I got to play with some bigger names, and that was pretty cool. But I guess you could say now I'm just kind of ready to slow down and do a little more hunting.
Tough. Sounds tough.
I was gonna say
horrible.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a nonstop deal. You're always going.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I would say your life sounds a lot better than all the rest of ours right about now, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm sitting here pondering. I'm going between you and Trev. I don't know who I'm more mad at.
I was gonna ask. I mean, you trying to do something like,
right?
Yeah, man. You just let me know. We'll get together.
Yeah. That's like the story of Trev, only his is summertime and fishing boats.
Yep.
I heard that. No, it worked out pretty well. And I think that was the cool thing about playing ball is getting all these connections. Like, for instance, Mitch and I there, and then getting on with Mike a little bit and this, that, and the other. You don't get those kind of connections just kind of sitting around, or you might every now and then taking a trip and just coming into some little store in whatever county and whatever state it might be, just kind of like that, that back 40 looking kind of store that you go in, you end up exchanging stories. That's part of the beauty of like different hunts that you're not really used to, or like some kind of out of state hunt. You never really know what you're going to get, and getting that network of people, like by being able to travel. And like, I was blessed with that. I mean, I could call just about anybody up in a state now and be like, hey, I'm kind of swinging through. Is there a chance we could shoot something for like a weekend real quick?
Hell yeah. Pretty good plans.
I don't care if it's a squirrel. Like, let's dust it up.
There's nothing better than that, man.
That's perfect.
So what do you guys kind of do collaboratively together? Like, do you guys tape your stuff or?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely starting to get into that a little bit more. Obviously, I'll let Mitch talk about that because he kind of runs the show.
Yeah. Like you said, we're kind of just getting into it. I retired, last year, moved back to Nashville. My wife and I built a house, got married, all that stuff. So it's just been a wild year. I didn't get to do too much hunting, especially with transferring jobs. And I spent 4 months in a facility, like working overnight and stuff. So I didn't personally get to hunt a lot this year. But Artum, Mike, and Cody, I mean, these guys are just every day, just wake up and go shoot something. And they get it done. You can clearly see Artum's wall there. The guy knows how to kill things, and it's pretty sweet. Good to have him on my team. But no, recording wise, we're trying to get to the point where I can get these guys gear, tactic cams, whatever. I think Artum just got one the other day, stuff like that. And just get to a point where, these guys are doing it routinely and can hopefully retire from their jobs one day and just be pro hunters, which is a long journey ahead. I pretty much just run the social media platforms right now. They send me all the content and I just kind of run that. So just trying to build that database there. But no, I mean, I think these guys are capable of doing it. They're all great shots. They all get the job done. It could be a -100 and they'll still go outside. They don't care.
Well, they kind of got that drive from the sports anyways, that competitive drive to want to succeed.
Get out there, play and win.
Yeah. And that's what they do. Cody was able to put some big bucks on the ground this year up in Iowa, and some good does.
There aren't big deer in Iowa.
No big deer in Iowa.
Yeah.
No, they're tiny.
That's a lie.
Little Pomeranian. No. Hey, I mean, no, realistically though, they are blessed with deer up there. Tennessee though, where I'm at, good night. These things, I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever hunted in the South, but these deer down here are not big.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, that's Virginia for you.
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
pretty rough.
I don't want to hear that about Virginia. I did a little stint there. That buck up top, that nice 11-pointer is actually from Virginia.
Yeah, there are some good ones around.
There's about 3 in the whole state, but
2 now.
When you find them, you find them.
One.
But your average deer, especially here, if you get a Pope and Young buck, you did pretty good up here in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yeah.
I heard that. Like I said, I went to school out in West Virginia, and it was pretty much the same story until you got like to the southern part of the state where it was a bow only county.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into those bow only counties, yeah, you run into quite a few nice deer, but you get into like your rifle counties out there by y'all.
Oh yeah,
man, if it's brown, it's down is an understatement.
You aren't lying, man.
Especially where they're running the dogs too.
Oh
yeah, no doubt.
I get it. It's their lifestyle. They like to do it, but gosh, damn, that makes it hard.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Mike, how is it out by you, man? You have a whole different atmosphere of hunting.
Oh, he's frozen.
If we froze him.
He's nervous.
Oh yeah,
He's nervous. He's shook.
Atmosphere-wise, it's hard.
Yep, he got stage fright.
Put me on the spot. Am I there?
You're there.
Yeah,
you got
Good
you.
now. Perfect. Let me see about getting in the house. Maybe it'll make it better.
So you gonna answer the question?
I didn't even hear the question. I was frozen, bud.
He's too busy breaking into a house right now.
Yeah, easy. I got to break into my own house,
I said, no, I said, you're from a whole different world or a whole different atmosphere when it comes to hunting.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely provided us challenges. Like, I mean, a lot of the guys, I've done hunting in the Midwest and I've done a lot of hunting here. And for me, it's kind of like they all provide their different challenges. So like the Midwest hunting, I see the challenges with whitetail and hunting there with, big cornfields and stuff like that. But for me, I found actually the Midwest hunting to be a lot easier than here in Colorado because we're consistently going along the same trails. But what a lot of people don't realize about here in Colorado is that we have so many seasons that are open to just hunters. I mean, we have the second and third season, which is over the counter for bulls in over half the state. And then you deal with hunting pressure. Like I looked at the statistics this year. We went first season elk in this unit we always go in. And we were to the point to where there was about 120 bull tags in the unit and about the same amount of cow tags just for first season alone. So you talk about just hunting pressure in general, I think is a little more widespread here because of the fact that people come from all over because they can just buy these tags over the counter.
I agree to that. I mean, you got a Michigan boy here, not in Colorado per se, but just your Western hunting. Like I went out to Idaho over the counter type hunt. And when we looked at the unit at the end of the year, like luckily we were enough to be successful. Went out, shot a 320 class bull, which was just freaking awesome with a bow. But the success rate in that unit was like roughly 3%.
Oh yeah. That's pretty standard for a lot of places out west, especially in Idaho with a bow.
Yeah,
that's
insane.
But there was so many hunters out there, like Mike's talking about, the hunting pressure to the west. He's right. I mean, in comparison, even here, like by me, I've got a ton of pressure, but there's a lot of deer. They may not all be your giant bucks, but there's quite a few deer around. Like you can go out and pretty well see at least one or two whitetail, not necessarily always a buck, but you could see that just about daily sitting. You know, like he says, they travel those same trails quite frequently. Whereas I know out west, the first 2 days we were there, we didn't see anything.
And then when you hear that first bugle, everybody in hearing range is moving on that one bull.
Yep. It's not even one bugle. I mean, we had instances last year where I had my shot to shoot a bull, and it ended up being to where it's like you fire one shot or they hear one bugle, and everybody from the south of the unit that's 4 miles away ends up in the same unit you're in. And you're kind of like, what am I supposed to do at this point? You know?
Yep. Any sign or scent that they're around, everyone piles in.
Yep.
I know that game.
Do you think that it has a lot to do with like the whole like public hunting type, like it's a new realm. Like everybody wants to do the public hunting.
Well, out west, a lot of it is just public hunting.
Right. So I think what you're getting at is like the whole, like, there's like, for instance, there's like Corey Jacobson, and they pride themselves on doing mostly over the counter or draw tags and public land hunts. And same thing with like Randy Newberg and guys like that. And they do it because of the fact that it provides its own challenge. And I think that that's what a lot of people that I've talked to that hunt that way, that's what they go for, is the challenge of not only being able to find those animals in those areas, but also compete with all the other competition in the area, looking for the same 360 class bull or 320 class bull.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've heard a lot, because we have a good friend that's from Nebraska, and he was saying because a lot of like the YouTube people are in the public land hunting and so on and so forth, that it's putting a lot of pressure on those areas.
Yeah, it's become a fad. People are doing it because it's the cool thing to do right now. You know, it's not, everyone used to go out of their way to get private land and nice big farms and whatnot, but that's not cool anymore. It's almost looked down on, as opposed to, hey, let's go do it because it's public land and it's hard. Look at me.
I've definitely seen that in various states. Your buddy in Nebraska, I don't know what part he's in, but like that's where I would take some buddies and stuff, and we would go for antelope. We've got a bunch of land. A lot of farmers don't like it. All that thimble and stuff, you know. Private, public, whatever, you can kind of get that permission if it's not private. But even then, you know, I've been down there 3 or 4 different times in the past 3 or 4 years. And the first year we went, and this actually goes for North Dakota too, for waterfowl hunting. The first 2 years we went, never saw another hunter. You know, and I'm not saying that they weren't there, obviously, but like that's some pretty good sized country and there's space. Whereas the last 2 years, almost every spot that we had secured the first 2 years was loaded down with guys, like at least 3 or 4 trucks, and we showed up.
Jeez.
You know, and I mean, that's, especially you start talking in a waterfall hole, like you get a nice little duck pothole. Public, yeah, you know, certain places in the country, like over here, if I'm trying to hunt a public hole, I got to get out there at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You really do. That's just how it is. Whereas out there, I was able to get out there. If shooting time was 7, I could pull in at 6:30, throw out a dozen decoys, shoot my limit, and head on out. Where now I'm having to drive 16 hours to North Dakota to do this public land hunt. And then next thing you know, I'm also getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning out there to make sure that hole's secured. It is a fad from all your YouTube channels and this and that. And like Mike said, possession of different like set of challenges. Absolutely. But I think that some people do need to kind of take that back a little bit and think, you know, yeah, it'd be cool to do it. Like it's a nice set of challenges. But at the same point, like if you're putting other people in danger going out there because you don't actually know what you're doing, maybe stick to a little bit more private land for a little bit. I don't mean to be negative, but like we were turkey hunting last spring on public that nobody's ever been to. And the tree right above our head got shot. And this dude didn't even know what he was shooting at. It was a crow. He's like, I missed that turkey. I'm like, dude, that was not a turkey. That's not even close.
Jeez.
You know, they're like, well, we saw it on TV.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit more to it.
We had one of the same scenarios. One of the public land I hunt here, that guys, I've never seen guys there. And I literally called in 2 hunters, and I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to sneak through the woods. There were like 4 or 5 jakes And I'm filming the whole thing. We weren't going to shoot them. They were skylighted, so we didn't want to shoot over. We knew there was a house on the other side. So we said, we not to shoot that area. But I was like, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to get the footage of it. So I just had these things rolling. They were like 6 of them. They were just going at it. And I just filming them. My boy's like, nah, we're not going to shoot them. So I hear, it was way worse than that, actually. And I was like, that's a hunter, dude. I said, you got to stand up. He's like, no. I go, that's a hunter. And you could see him. He starts walking. He's just creeping his way through the woods. And he comes out of the cedar thicket and he's just standing there. I'm like, dude, he's going to shoot. He's going to shoot. So I literally had to stand up and wave my hands to stop him from shooting, because we were definitely going to get shot. And we were right behind those birds, and it's just like, what are you doing, man? Like, I don't get it. But they're out there hunting, man. It is what it is. I get it, but they just need to be a little bit more cautious of what's going on.
Well, I give them credit for being out there, but people like that should know that they really ought to focus in on, a mentorship program, or go with someone who knows what they're doing for their first time, kind of show them the ropes. I'm a big fan of that idea, but common sense isn't so common anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to make sure that part's clear. Like I'm a big advocate for taking people out and making sure that, as many people as in the woods is cool. It's a great thing to be. It's a lot better than being behind your video game console or wherever you might be doing drugs in town, whatever. It's something that if you can get a passion behind it, it keeps you out of a lot of other stuff. It really does. And I think anyone that truly loves it can agree to that. But at the same point, like you say, that mentorship program, going with someone, like there's people that go out and they don't get a license. They don't kind of really do their research or anything. It's just kind of that misconstrued conception of what hunting is.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of the problem too, and I see it a lot, I don't know if you guys do on some of like your local Facebook pages or whatever, but a lot of the newbies will go and they'll try and have a conversation and they'll just get ridiculed. That was one of like my biggest pet peeves growing up. That's why I had started an online forum, was because of that, because everyone would be on Facebook and they would ask a question. They would be like, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? And then the guys would just absolutely turn them up. You're an idiot. Why would you? But the guy might be a new hunter, man. I don't know. So now he's out in the woods and he's doing something. So I think kind of we all need to band together and help those people, not hinder them from what they're doing.
No doubt.
So I just wanted to put that out there. But we were talking before all this, man, about some of the new laws and stuff that you guys have been seeing kind of in the West, man. Somebody want to hit on those just a little bit?
Yeah, one of the big ones that we're seeing here in Colorado is that this year they just passed the introduction to bring wolves back to Colorado, which, I mean, a lot of people can argue that they've already been here, or they were here already, and they're not really introducing them, but it like provides a lot of arguments for people as far as, let's be real, like elk and wolves and bears and all of them, they've coexisted with each other for thousands of years or whatever. But the thing is the fact that they keep a nice checks and balance of the ecosystem. But the problem that I have with it is the fact that I know for a fact, according to studies and other stuff, especially in like Idaho and states like that, that they don't do the best job of implementing like a plan to mitigate the populations of those predators. So my fear is that, eventually what's going to happen is they're going to introduce these wolves this year or next year, whenever they decide to do it. And, 5 years from now, we're not going to have the elk populations that they say we do. I mean, supposedly Colorado has the biggest elk population, somewhere around 350,000 elk or something like that. But the problem is once they introduce all of those wolves, I have a feeling that we're going to end up losing a lot of our seasons, with the fact that, like I've touched on before, the second and third season, that's usually an over-the-counter tag for half the state, for a bull, for a rifle tag, is, I fear, is going to go away, and it's going to limit a lot of opportunities for people to go hunt, because of the fact that, we're going to be losing populations of elk because the state will not put in the right measures to mitigate those predators.
I actually got a question for you on that, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I'm with you 100% with everything you're getting at, but something that I've struggled to understand a little bit, and I do kind of mean this sarcastically, but at the same point, there's some sincerity to it, is, in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, they had put wolves as well. And the purpose of these wolves is really to kind of monitor these populations like elk populations, right? Kind of like mitigate that stuff down a little bit, control the herd because they think the herd's getting out of control. Like that always seems to be what they're getting at. What I don't understand is if there's so much money that comes in from hunters, you know, and the price of tags and this and that, like you say, they have a pretty fair like level of checks and balances when it comes to the seasons. Why don't they just throw some more tags into it rather than bring down wolves? Because they did that in the UP of Michigan, and now there's so many that they actually can't keep a quota with their hunting licenses because one, they're a hard species to hunt because they're smart. Wolves aren't dumb, you know. I mean, that's something that I personally take a little bit more serious. You're running around the woods with wolves rather woods that don't have them, and you know that like I just don't understand that point. So I just kind of wanted to get your take on it. And he cuts out.
He must have a little.
He's
little
thinking.
glitch.
I can see the steam. He's thinking.
He's thinking.
So after everything you just said, and you know, that's the first time I've.
It's
Don't
trying
tell
to
me
play
this.
catch up real quick.
Little technical difficulty.
No worries.
No.
There you go. Well,
Oh.
there he was.
We should be back now. We should be.
Darn
Oh.
You're not.
Fucking thing.
While he figures that out a little bit, I mean, Mitch, you heard that. You're originally Western guy. Like, you know, what do you think about that?
You know, I mean, it's hard for me to tell. Growing up, I was a bird hunter. I went pheasant hunting a lot with my dad, a couple deer, you know, stuff like that. I never really got into elk until a couple of years ago. So I haven't been fortunate enough to really like shoot one or anything yet. But, you know, there's some good and there's bad to everything. So, you know, people are going to say these wolves are going to help a lot. Some people think it's going to be the worst thing possible for Colorado. You know, but for me personally, it is what it is. You know, these things they need to be out in nature as well. Wolves are, I mean, they're beautiful animals. They're great creatures or whatever, but you know, if it is going to come in, it's going to wreck the elk population and really get rid of these big bulls that people are putting all this money and time and effort into, and you know, and they're taking those down, then yeah, that's going to be a problem, you know. But if they're just taking a couple, you know, some cows here and there, whatever. So I don't know. I haven't really, I don't really have a set mindset on that and you know, a straight answer for you yet. So I guess we'll just see what happens because, you know, we don't control the pen that they sign those bills with and everything. So we'll just see what happens.
No, I agree with you on that. It's just a pretty crazy concept to me, just in that retrospect, you know, of like wolves are breeders. They repopulate at a pretty crazy rate. And to be able to kind of control that and make sure that those numbers don't get out of hand from various states has kind of been a proven difficulty for people. So it's kind of fearful in a state like Colorado, you know, for what I see. And that's just based off of what I know. Obviously, I'm sure there's plenty of other people that can come in on the other side of this and make a bunch of fair points and make it sound like I don't know anything that I'm talking about. I'm going off of in person what I saw in, you know, the UP of Michigan, Northern Idaho, talking to the people in that area. And it was actually something that I promised to talk about through some of my buddies before and just kind of wanted to see what other people were thinking.
Do you think that a lot of the antis would jump on it too by having people go out and kill the wolves? Because isn't it like a huge thing of protect the wolves?
Well, it's very huge.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So there was a pretty big effect on that when they, let's see, it would have been around 96 or 97 when they reintroduced the gray wolves in Arizona. So we watched our elk population out there. The first 2 years wasn't bad, but I'd say around year 3, year 4, our trophy units were decimated. they'd get in there. Like you said, they did overpopulate. There was no management effort, no nothing to put the growth rates in check on the wolves. And a herd of 120,000 turned into a herd of 10,000 in about 5 years. So
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
rough. It's hard to watch.
And that's the fear. For example, I know Mike and his family. That's who I, get to go elk hunting with here and there. And I mean, the time and effort and the money that they put into this, and pulling those trailers and those side by sides and the old Jeep up the mountain, getting camp set up, the big tents, stuff like that. They got one goal in mind, and that's to find a big bull, put it on the ground. And if the population is going to keep dropping and dropping because wolves, that's probably not great, but it is what it is. It's hard for us to control as hunters. We don't have much say in that. But I'm just hoping that these guys,
regardless, they're going to do it.
Yeah. So I'm just, any hunter out there that's going after a big bull or, a big cow or whatever, like, good luck to them. Hope they get it and everything. But I feel like these wolves are kind of going to take over a little bit of that, but we'll see.
So I'll play devil's advocate if you guys can hear me.
Hey, you're back, Mike.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for joining us, Mike.
So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm totally against it or totally for it, but I'm more 60-40 against it. My thought process behind it is the reasons why I kind of am okay with it. Some aspects of this is Colorado does have a very big population of elk. And the problem that we're starting to see is that we're starting to get some chronic wasting disease and stuff like that because herds are getting too big. And especially in certain areas, there's herds that are just unheard of in size. So I can see where wolves can play a factor with the fact that they're going to, hopefully, in theory, they'll take out the weakest links, do what they need to do. And at the end of the day, it's going to make the gene pool for the elk better. But my argument to it is, like I said before, if they're going to do it, they need to make it a process to where we can also mitigate and manage how many wolves are in a certain area and be able to do that. But I can't see how you can do that with the fact, like Artoon said, you can't. They're such a hard animal to hunt. They're not like calling coyotes. You can't sit down and call them in. Like, yeah, you might get a couple of young ones to come in, but these animals are smart. They've been around for hundreds of years and they've hunted like this. They know what they do. So you can't say that you're going to be able to successfully mitigate it and keep them from killing a whole bunch of elk, because I just don't see it being possible.
True. Valid
That's
point.
crazy. And going back, Artoon had talked about, why don't they give us more tags? Why wouldn't they just give more tags to get more people in the hunting to bring more money to the area instead of putting in the wolves to kill off what's bringing money into that economy?
Well, that's what I don't understand either, is because, I mean, honestly, tag prices here in Colorado actually just went up, even for in-state. So what I don't understand is they're making their money, especially on an out-of-stater. I think it went up to like $850 or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it went up pretty high for an out-of-stater to shoot a bull. And for me, yeah, it makes more sense for them to just produce some more tags and, get people out. But I think the problem is with a lot of the things that I saw, especially with last year, I really got into like some of these apps, like the Go Hunt app and stuff like that. You can kind of get on there and see like success rates and number of bull to cow ratio in a unit and stuff like that, and see like migration paths stuff. And it was a great app to use. But some of the trends that I saw is that the success rate in certain times of the year were so low. I mean, I was looking at the unit we hunt every year. I mean, my family's hunted there since the 50s, so we go there every year. But I was looking at success rates for the year before, and like it was like a 10 or 15% success rate for first season. I mean, and it only jumped up to about 30% in third season. So, I mean, they're giving the tags out. But the problem that Colorado also has is we have an abundance amount of trail systems. And people do not want to get out and do the work. I mean,
that's a shame.
They want a road hunt, and Mitchell attests to it. I'm not that person. I mean, I think the first year I took him out, we did 30 miles in 5 days. So people just don't want to get out of the truck. They don't want to get out and put in the work to hunt these animals. They just want to have it come easy.
Right. And that's exactly where I was going to go is you can put 1 million tags out for the state, but if you only got a 3% success rate, it doesn't matter. You're not going to make a big dent in that herd, until, like you said, more people get out there and that success rate goes up. The amount of tags don't matter.
Do you think that that's probably why they're trying to pass this new law that we were talking about before with giving them to the outfitters
Guide
over
service.
over
SB
the
143.
Yeah.
God, that whole
one and
deal,
one has to do with another, or
I think maybe it could coincide a little bit. The whole boots on the ground thing, I want to touch a little bit more with that, with what Mike was talking about. I do attest to that, like getting out and being able to, when you get deeper in the woods, like you're going to run into more, and you got to have boots on the ground. That should be part of the fun of your elk hunt, like for over here, it's a change in elevation. So we were sitting there before going, taking all sorts of like situational shots, climbing up whatever hills we could have, like basically putting into a sweat pant type shot just because you're trying to make it as real life as possible. And something that I found, I actually contacted one of the COs before I went. And when I got talking to him, he said, if you're a boots on the ground guy, don't let the percentages in a unit scare you, because a lot of those success rates are, like he said, more from the road. Like the minute we got, it really wasn't even that far. Like we got 5, 6, maybe 600 yards away from the road, and the amount of like human sign diminished. It was crazy. If you went back there a half a mile, even a mile off of, and you were a mile from any road, like there was not hardly any people. Your pressure was so little that if you went back, like they were saying, 4 or 5 miles, it was crazy the amount of elk we saw. We run a bull at least 1, if not 3 different bulls every day for a 3-day span when we got back in there and just set up a spike camp. Yep. And I mean, I think that's, like you talk about it coinciding a little bit. The guiding outfitter, that's their job. They have to do the scouting. They have to do all that work for you. And that honestly is a lot of the reason why people are going to use a guide to begin with. However, when you take that away from the over-the-counter experience, or even a draw unit to do it yourself, and you diminish that by 60%, even people that don't really go out and do that, like you're taking away a lot of that opportunity to go out and hunt. Think about the price of doing one of these hunts on your own over the counter. You're running with a drive and the price of tags or whatever. You can highball it and say $2,500 with food, everything, 25, $3,000, whatever. A guiding outfitter to shoot a 300+ class. I mean, what's that going to run you? 15, 20 grand?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's people kind of finding a way to get a little greedier.
It's going to make it kind of like European hunting, where it's a rich man's game.
I didn't even think of it like that, honestly, Steven, because it is. It's going to make it a rich man's game.
Yeah.
Just like they would in Russia and
you got to pay
Poland.
to play. And if you can't pay, you're not playing.
So the guys that are but are they still with that bill? Are they still going to have your residents be able to pull tags, or they have to go, or they're just taking the out of state, 60% of the out of state and putting them with outfitters?
For what I saw, it was the majority of the tags for the state. Anything that was a draw unit and or over the counter.
Okay.
Now, I may be mistaken on it, and if anybody knows different, correct me, but from what I saw reading in on it, that's what's got some people in the hunting community kind of ticked off.
Wow. So
that's kind of what I saw on it too. So.
And there's no reason why we can't stand up for it. I mean, to be honest, if you get enough people, we can make a movement to stop some of that stuff. Honestly, did you guys see what was happening in California with the bear hunting when they put in the first bill for bear hunting?
Denied.
Did you see that?
Shot right down.
That was quick.
Because the body of the people stopped them, and a lot of people go, "No, our voice is not heard," and so on and so forth. Bullshit, man. Your voice is heard. And the problem I find with the hunters, especially on the local level here, because I do a lot with the politics here locally. with a lot of different groups. Is the problem is that the hunters want to fight among one another. It is a dick swinging contest, and it really is. Who shoots more birds, who kills bigger animals. They all want to fight among each other. They don't want to unite together and fight together. They want to fight with each other. Like, we're not getting attacked enough. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the problems with the outdoorsmen. They're like too competitive, and they can't swallow their pride and help one another.
Valid point.
Would you guys agree to that or disagree?
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
And it's so nerve wracking though, because we could move mountains. We could stop that bill if everybody would just unite together and help one another to fight. So like me from Connecticut can write letters to your guys' representatives to stop that, and Steve can do it from Virginia, and Mitch can do it from Tennessee.
It's actually available. If you look it up on you can Google it. If you Google that SB 143, there's a petition going on. There's all the people that are in conjunction with the bill that you can email directly and say, hey, I don't want this to go through. And you can leave it as simple as that. Or you can put some justification to it as well and make it, make your voice seem a little bit more heard. Personally, I've emailed them all 15 times, and I haven't even hunted Montana. I haven't hunted California. I've been there. But, those aren't places I've done the hunts. It's just a place that I personally, as a hunter, want, the people that are in that area, the people to go to still have that opportunity, or even for me to have that opportunity future. Think way long term. Think about, later in your life when you have your kids and you want to take your hunt, or if you have them now and they're just growing up, you want to take them and you're planning for that hunt. The people that have been for 8-9 years, they have to save up and make sure everything's in line and ready to go. And then something like that hits and you're not going to be able to go anymore. I mean, that's just demoralizing. That's another way to take somebody out of the sport, especially if that's a way that you're using to get them into it.
I totally agree with you 100%. Yeah. And that's it. Even you just need to leave that option open for if you ever want to do that.
Exactly.
Well, let's move on to something a little bit happier.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I know. So,
what's the craziest shit you guys have run into? You guys started to dive into a story, and we cut you off because we didn't want you to share until we were recording.
Oh, that was Mike with the. That was your.
Oh yeah.
Share, I think.
Yeah. So this was pretty crazy. So the area we've hunted, like I said before, my family's hunted in the same area since the 1950s. We've kept going to the same area. We've had success. It's not anything special where you're going to shoot 400 class bulls or anything like that, but it's a place we consider home. But so we went up there one year, and my dad's told me stories from when he's been going up there, and his dad and stuff like that about black bear sightings and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, right. I was like, I've never even seen a black bear. because we go camping in the same spots, So I'm walking up this draw opening morning, and I'm sitting there. I sit down at the bottom of the draw there for a while and cow call, and I'm just kind of meandering along. And I know my dad's up above me on the ridge, and I get up there far enough, and I'm like, there's something standing up there. And I keep looking, and I keep getting closer, and next thing you know, I'm only about probably 45, 50 yards from this bear without knowing it. And I finally, it was tucked down just enough to where it was just below the grass line, but I could still see, the back and the head and stuff. So I finally put my 300 on it, and I scoped it up, and I was like, oh shit, that's a black bear. And literally as soon as I said that, it lifted his head up, looked at me, and licked his lips. And I said, nah, this ain't happening today, boys. And it just so happens that I made it up to where my dad was, and we were probably about 300 yards from him. And I was sitting there, and all of a sudden these two coyotes come in and run him off. And I'm like, what the hell's going on down there? So everything disappeared. And I finally was like, well, I'm going to keep walking up the ridge. And I soon was like, yeah, I don't know if this is such a great idea, because I went the same way the bear went, like a dumbass. But I walked down in there, and that was probably the coolest and sketchiest thing I've ever seen, though, because he was sitting there eating on a calf elk, recently, probably the night before, the day before. But that bear, before those coyotes ran him off, actually went up to that elk carcass and covered it with grass before he left.
Yep.
And just completely covered it and left to come back to it later. So that was probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. But
That's awesome. Felines do the same thing, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That or they'll drag them up into a tree.
Right.
We'll get the bobcats here that'll cover their stuff like that. That's incredible. I didn't even know black bears covered their findings.
Oh yeah, it was like this big pile. It was probably 2.5 feet tall, 3 or 4 feet wide, just completely covered the carcass. Like I had to actually dig it out to even find what it was, and I was like, oh shit.
Time to go.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna get out of here before I find something else that doesn't like me.
Now, could you imagine if you had a bunch of wolves there?
Yeah, exactly. That's just it. I mean, it's just the whole wolf thing is it's gonna keep coming up no matter what. Like we tell these stories about just a black bear, but it not only is it a dangerous factor, like it's already a dangerous sport enough. Like I don't know how many podcasts and stuff you guys watch, but I went through a stint where I watched Elk 101 for a while, and they were up in Washington one time archery hunting, and it was as simple as a guy walking along and an arrow slipped out of his quiver and stabbed him in the calf and was literally an inch away from cutting one of his main arteries in his leg. I mean, this is a dangerous sport enough, but we're going to add something else to this that could potentially put people in harm's way again.
Fair enough. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And I mean, you're adding that, but then you got a bunch of kooks that are crazy enough out there, like with whether it be a fiery passion, I mean, in more of a safe way, but you still kind of, you kind of ride those lines. You ride that edge a little bit. Like you see a big river valley or you see this kind of cliff that, that's what's separating you from at least getting an opportunity at something. And, you just kind of like, all right, yeah, it might be a thin line to walk, but I think it's worth it. And you're swimming across that river to get over there and get a shot at something. I mean, I've done that. I've been there December, throw on a pack of waders. Like I planned on going across this river, and I like looking at it on a map, looking at it in person, immediately when you look at it, the last thing you should do is cross it. But I'm like, no, there's got like, it can't be that bad. Like getting over there saves me time. It puts me in a better position. It's what you need to do. And, sometimes it works out. And sometimes you end up caught up in a current. Next thing you know, you're about 250 yards down, swimming to the bank and wondering why you did that in the first place.
Yep.
Know all about that. I do a lot of kayak public land hunting here, and you should definitely not be in a kayak in the middle of November. Just not a good idea, and you're paddling half a mile to get somewhere, and it's 3:00 in the morning and you're in waders or whatever, and you're going down the river, man, something goes wrong. You're by yourself. Nobody ever going to find you. Not that there's anything here to eat me, but what if, who knows, you can drown or whatever. So.
Well, y'all got some black bears up that way, just not with bigger size, don't you?
Well, Connecticut. So we don't have a bear hunting season here. So our bears, I mean, we have some bears that we see in some of these urban areas that are over 500 pounds. I mean, they're just giant black bears, but up north a little bit, a couple hours from us has giant black bears, and they're everywhere. 200-300 pounders, and they're just absolutely everywhere. But we don't really have any. I mean, here is like, we don't have snakes. We don't have anything that'll kill you. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
my farm's plagued with bears.
Is it?
The last one I shot was 400 pounds and went Pope and Young.
Oh, nice.
So, and every time Bev comes down, he gets skunked.
Yep.
I think the coolest black bear experience I had was actually out in West Virginia, and I slapped a black bear on the ass.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah, you're in the area for it.
I have video evidence. I don't know how to show it on here, but if anyone ever requests it, I do have it. And there was a bear up a tree, and I was with some buddies, and they were like, just go start knocking on the tree and you'll scare them down. I was like, there's no way. Like, I don't even want to get close to it. Like, it's just kind of doing its thing. I'm doing mine. Let's shimmy on. But no, sure enough, we walked over to it, and they come down that thing like a fireman's pole. And they're either, and he told me straight up, I was dumb enough to believe it from the beginning. But they said it straight up. He goes, when that bear hits the ground, he's going to do one of two things. He's either going to sprint and run, or he's going to come at you.
Mm-hmm.
So here he come down the tree, and he's sliding down. My attention's only waiting on slapping this bear on the ass, because apparently that was the one thing I needed to do to feel worthy in my life. And here he comes, slide down this fireman's pole, and I grabbed his ass, and I tell you what, that's a lot of weight coming back down. He flung my ass back the other way, and he hit the ground and went running, and so did I. And I'm running in place on this little mudslide of a hill. He's taking off. I'm just smiling like Dumb and Dumber running up this hill. But it's a position I wouldn't want to put myself back into. But at the time, it was pretty cool. I got my video evidence. Those bears can stay away from me now.
The West Virginia Redneck Games.
Yep.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
They've got them.
Oh yeah.
Can have them.
Yep.
The mountain mutants.
It's like some guys out here that I work with, they do a lot of cat hunting. So they have dogs and stuff where they go tree them. And the guy said he doesn't do it as a guide service, but he'll take people out if you have a tag. But he says it's a disservice to this animal to just do this and come and shoot it. He was like, the only way I let you guys shoot them is they have to climb the tree and touch the cat before you shoot it. I said, you guys are nuts.
Nope. I'm out.
I said, no, I'm good. I don't need to shoot one that bad.
Yeah, I've seen enough mountain lions.
Stay in the litter box.
Wow.
I don't even like house cats. You think I'm gonna get my big ass in a tree to touch a real one?
Yeah.
I know what bobcats do in cages. I'm all set with that. You kidding me?
Yeah.
No way. No. We had a buddy of ours, Drew Walter from Wild Edge. He was out in Idaho and he was cat hunting, and he told us a story one night, and he was right underneath it, and things just looking at him. And the guide, you know how they talk, they really mountain talk. And he's like, that bar, he gonna jump down on you. And he's like, what? He goes, when you shoot him, it's gonna jump down on you. And I guess that's what they do. They jump right on you. But he also said if there was a kid there, they watch the kid. And whoever, there's 15 dogs around the tree and a couple of guys. But if you have the gun, that's who they're watching, the guy with the gun. And if there was a kid there, it'd be watching the kid. And it's fucking pretty scary. I'm all set with that stuff, man.
My dad used me for bait when I was a kid.
For cats?
No, it was for the neighbor's rabid dog, some stray dog that was under someone's porch.
Nice.
Totally different shift there. Not to take away from the fury of cats, but yeah, there was a rabid one, and it chased me home off the school bus one day, and nobody knew who it belonged to. And sure enough, I told him, I'm like 6, 7 years old, wearing my Flash costume, running from a dog. Come home, and he's like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, this dog's chasing me. And he called the neighbor. He goes, is that yours? He goes, no, but I've shot it twice. I thought it was dead. And he's like, all right, well, we'll finish this, and just hangs up. And we got this little pine row on the backside of our property that kind of splits this wood lot for, I don't know, 15 acres or so, and then neighbor's house. And I get about halfway through this wood row. He tells me to go through it. And I see this dog look at me and link up. I'm like, oh God, this is it. Because my dad stayed back at the wood row. He said, I'm not walking in the woods. And he said, when it sees me, it just comes sprinting back at him. Well, sure enough, I did. And I went sprinting. I got right to that little edge of those pine rows. And there he is. And he steps out with a 12 gauge. And I didn't turn to even see it. I just ran right into the house, probably calling for my mom for all I know. And all I heard just boom. That was the end of that dog.
Ooh,
It's one way to do it.
that's how you do it. Well, boys, we'll do a round table real quick. One of the last questions we have is, what drives you outdoors?
I'll go ahead and let my guys answer those first, and then I'll wrap it up.
He just wants them to say something, so we'll go. I agree with him.
Yeah, I agree with everything they
That's
said.
what I used to do.
Yeah, that's a typical Mitch move right there.
Hey, work smarter, not harder. Come on now.
I don't know. I would say what drives me outdoors is
being
just
outside.
No, you go ahead, bud.
Couldn't get him to talk. Now they won't shut up.
My God, you take it, man. I gotta.
No, it's all you. I got to think about what I was going to say now. You threw me off.
Oh well, all right. I guess the drive for outdoors, just stuff like this. The memories you build, the friends, the camaraderie you get, the experiences in the field itself. I mean, you can go out there every single day of the year, doing something different and always come home with some kind of new tall tale or new story or newfound love and affection. It'll kick you down, it'll beat you up, but my God, it's got the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Steven, are we twins? Me and him? We twins, bro? We twins?
You guys might want to go.
See the resemblance in a mirror. I can't remember like which screen I'm in.
That's my answer all the time. It's the same exact answer.
Yeah, you guys need to go get a blood test done.
No, I think we can differentiate because one's a large and one's an extra large.
Oh, that's actually I'm a 2X, so you're fine.
Oh, well, I gotta be an XL. I don't want to be as small as the large.
Well, let's go on this podcast, bud.
Go ahead, Mike. Take it away, buddy.
No, so I guess what drives me outdoors is a lot of what Artun says, but for me, it's more of just like the family, the camaraderie. You know, the fact that we're so blessed to be able to go do what we get to do. You know, during hunting season, especially here in Colorado, with how much public land we have, and just being able to get outside and do something else, whether it be hunting or fishing. You know, that's what we live for. And for me, it's like it's getting to the point to where I love to be able to get new people out, get people involved in either hunting, shooting, fishing, whatever they want to do. And that's my end goal. You know, I'm not about, going out and shooting the biggest bulls or going out and shooting the biggest bucks, but damn, I like to go out and have a good time. There's nothing better than, watching ducks cup in or, watching coyotes trot in or that big bull bugling up on the ridge. It gets me going every time. And I think that's what we're all here for. And that's what we all love.
Oh yeah.
Amen to that.
Well, you don't have a choice. You got to go now.
You can't disagree, Mitch.
Oh, see, now he's playing the I froze game.
Yeah.
There he goes.
He froze he didn't freeze the whole time.
Oh man. You telling me?
Talk about timing.
We can all talk. I know, right?
Timing.
Yeah, he'll probably say his phone died or that he'll text you the answer later.
There he is.
He's back.
All right,
Mitch. Yeah, it's your turn, buddy.
I had to hit the lag switch to give me a couple more seconds to think.
Oh, is that okay? That's what I figured. I'm like, he didn't freeze up the whole entire time.
The
Now
whole time.
he's choked. He's choking. He's like Eminem. He's choking over there.
Oh man, but no, honestly, I mean, all hunters are pretty much going to say the same thing when it comes to just the camaraderie and meeting new people and good friends and everything like that. I think the biggest thing for me personally is it was something my dad handed down to me. And if anybody knows me, Mike knows me really well. I mean, we might as well be blood with how close we are. But my dad is the biggest dude in my life. He's my inspiration. He's what I look up to. And he handed the sport to me. He got it from his dad, growing up on a farm in Kansas. And, it's something that stuck with me. Growing up as a four sport athlete, it was kind of hard for me to, hunt as much as a lot of guys get to growing up. But now that college is done and everything, really looking forward to getting into it. But we do have a wrench in the plan. But I got a youngster coming in August.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So we'll definitely see, kind of where that goes. It's right in hunting season. I know bad timing, right at the beginning of hunting season, but life hits you differently sometimes. So. But no, it's the family aspect, and then I wouldn't be great friends with these guys. I wouldn't talk to them as much as I would if we weren't hunters and didn't enjoy the outdoors. And just like we're doing right now, wouldn't have this opportunity to meet you two and enjoy this time together and get to know each other. So, which we're all very thankful and appreciative of.
No problem, man. It's been a blast
sure.
having you guys on. So, real quick before we cut you guys out, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, how they can follow along, and anything you'd like to ask of them?
Yeah, absolutely. So all my guys have personal pages, Mike Lavar, Artum Rank, and Cody Henson. They're all on our Instagram, Tags Punched Outdoors. We're in the process of getting Facebook rolling and YouTube and Twitter and all of that, getting all social media going. So you can find us there. It's mainly Instagram right now. Feel free to message us, ask us questions, anything like that. We do a lot of giveaways. We actually have a giveaway coming up this week. We're giving off a Smith & Wesson knife, pretty nice little knife. So, be on the lookout for that and give us a follow, give us a shout, reach out, talk to us and everything. We're all great guys, and we like to have a conversation with anybody, especially the youth.
Outstanding. Well, again, thanks for joining us. It's been a good conversation. I feel like we could have gone down some of them rabbit holes for a while. So thanks for bringing the good content. We appreciate it.
Yes,
And
sir. No, thank y'all.
Yeah, anytime.
Thanks,
It's
guys.
been fun. It's been a good time. Kind of sucks to chase the rabbit on some of that other stuff early on, but when you got a platform, you got to use it,
you're damn right.
Absolutely.
And there's always time for more if y'all ever want it. So
Don't worry. There's plenty more time.
all right. Well, for everybody out there listening, go check these guys out, follow them along, give them some support where you can. And just want to thank you guys for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.